Oh, indeed, Watson is precisely right. I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Holmes, of course. Well, in that matter, I might be seen simply as an addendum, very rightly a footnote to my friend and colleague Holmes. Yes, it is true that he has recently been considered deceased, though I must say I personally do not agree. The evidence, I think, does not support the theory. Holmes would disdain it. In my humble opinion, I will wake in the near future to the sound of his violin. Now, it is true that his notoriety is, in a small way, due to me. I kept voluminous notes on some 74 of the cases in which I was involved, some of which have recently reached the public view. In that sense, no Watson, no Holmes, at least not in the public view. I was, so to say, a valuable witness present at the event. To encapsulate the man, his penetrating logic and unparalleled deductive talents obscured a very patchy general knowledge. He knew nothing of literature, philosophy, politics, or botany, other than its influences on poison. Great men often demonstrate a single-mindedness that outside their sphere of interest might be called dismay. If you'll pardon me, I must away. A pleasure, madam. Sherlock Holmes, once in one's head, impossible to dislodge.
Ah, Watson, had I any real talent, never would have taken up the soiled mantle of the detective.
My loss then would have been a great one. This business card was by the door.
Charles Augustus Milverton, agent.
And who might that be?
The worst man in London.
And on the back, we'll call at 6:30, C.A.M.
Ah, he is due then. Do you feel a creeping, shrinking sensation, Watson, as you might when you stand before the serpents in the zoo and see the slithery, gliding, venomous creatures with their deadly eyes and wicked, flattened faces? Well, that's how Milverton impresses me. I've had to do with 50 murderers in my career. The worst of them never gave me the repulsion that I feel for this fellow. Yet he comes here at my invitation.
But what's his game?
He is the king of all the blackmailers. Heaven help the man, and still more the woman, whose secret and reputation come into the power of Milverton. With a smiling face and a heart of marble, he will squeeze and squeeze until he has drained them dry. This fellow is a genius in a way, would have made his mark in some more savory trade.
And how does he proceed?
His method is as follows. He allows it to be known that he is prepared to pay high sums for letters which compromise people of wealth and position. He receives these wares not only from treacherous maids or valets, but frequently from genteel ruffians and card sharks who've gained the affection of trusting women.
And they find his pace sufficient?
He is, if anything, overgenerous and thus builds his business. I happen to know that he paid £700 to a footman for a note 2 lines in length. Everything which is in the market goes to Milverton. There are hundreds in this great city that cringe at even the mention of his name.
Quite the genteel pirate.
Well put. No one knows how far his grip may fall, for he is far too rich and far too cunning to take on any who would spread the word of their own failures and misdeeds. At his leisure, he tortures the soul and wrings the nerves in order to add to his already swollen money bags.
I have seldom heard you speak with such intensity of feeling.
I have a modicum of respect for a crime of passion, Watson, but none for such a devious swindler.
But surely the fellow must be within the grasp of the law.
Technically, but not practically, Watson. For what would it profit to woman to get him a few months' imprisonment if her own ruin must immediately follow? His victims dare not hit back, as he always withholds more to do further damage. He never blackmails a person innocent of some damaging mistake. We must find other ways to fight him.
But why will he come here?
Because an illustrious client had placed her piteous case in my hands. It is the Lady Eva Blackwell, the most beautiful debutante of last season. She is to be married in a fortnight to the Earl of Dovercourt. The fiend has several imprudent letters, Watson. Imprudent, nothing more, that she wrote to a penniless young squire in the country. They are direct enough to break off her match. Milverton will send the letters to the Earl unless a large sum of money is paid him. I am asked to make the best terms I can.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, the master of the telling detail. How very excited I am to meet such a giant in the trade of detection. Dear me, I've been measured and found wanting. Hopefully I can grow in your esteem. This man, is he discreet? Is it wise he join us?
Dr. Watson is my friend and partner.
Fortunate man indeed. Very good, Mr. Holmes. It is only in your client's interest that I protest. The matter is so very delicate that
Dr. Watson has already heard of it.
Fortunate Watson. Then we may proceed to business. You say that you are acting for the Lady Eva.
I am.
Has she empowered you to accept my terms?
What are your terms?
£7,000.
And the alternative?
My dear sir, it is almost too painful for me to discuss it, but if the money is not paid on the 14th, there certainly will not be a marriage on the 18th.
You appear to me to be taking matters too much for granted. I am, of course, familiar with the contents of these letters. I shall counsel my client to tell her future husband the whole story and to trust his generosity.
Evidently, you do not know the Earl.
What real harm is in the letters?
They are sprightly, very sprightly. Though he was a charming correspondent, but I can assure you that the Earl of Dovercourt would fail to appreciate them. He is not a fan of being a figure of fun. However, since you think otherwise, we'll let it rest at that. It is purely a matter of business. If you think it's in your client's best interest that the letters be placed in the hands of the Earl, then you would indeed be foolish to pay such a large sum of money to regain them.
Wait a little. You go too fast. You should certainly make every effort to avoid scandal in so delicate a matter.
I thought you see it in that light.
Lady Eva is not a wealthy woman, and £2,000 would be a drain upon her resources. And I beg that you will moderate your terms and return the letters at the price I indicate, which is, I assure you, the highest that you can get.
I believe what you say is true about the lady's resources. On the other hand, I think you and I can both agree that a lady's marriage is the perfect time for a friend and relative to make a little effort upon her behalf. And let me assure you that this little bundle of letters would bring more joy than all the wedding gifts of the candelabra or the butter dishes in London.
It is impossible.
Dear me, how unfortunate. Ah, look at this. It belongs to... Well, perhaps it is quite rude to disclose the name until tomorrow morning, but at that time, the letters will be in the hands of the lady's husband. And to think, this all could have been solved if she would have just paid the beggarly sum, which I know she could have gotten by turning her diamonds into paste. Such a pity. Do you remember the sudden end to the engagement between the Honorable Miss Miles and Colonel Dorking, and why? Why? It's almost incredibly, actually, but the absurd sum of £1,200 would have settled the whole thing. Is it not pitiful? And here I thought you were a man of sense. Which I'm sure you must be, Mr. Watson.
Watson.
Yes. Boggling about the terms when your client's future and honor are at stake.
Outrageous.
You surprise me, Mr. Holmes.
What I say is true. The money cannot be found. Surely it is better to accept the sum I offer rather than to ruin this woman's career, which can profit you in no way.
There, I fear you've made a mistake, Mr. Holmes. An exposure would profit me indirectly to a considerable extent. I have about 8 or 10 similar cases maturing, and if it circulated among them that I made a severe example of Lady Eva, well, they would be much more open to reason. You see my point.
Grab him, Watson. Don't let him go. Now, sir, let us see the contents of that notebook.
Mr. Holmes, I assure you, gentlemen, that I am armed to the teeth and perfectly prepared to use my weapon, knowing that the law will support me. I've expected something ordinary in your company, and you both do not disappoint. I would hardly like to dispatch London's premier investigator in such a trifling situation.
Move away, Watson.
Well, now, my friends, I must leave you. I have 1 or 2 tiny interviews to conduct this evening, and it's a long drive back to Hampstead. Good evening, Mr. Holmes. Good evening, Mr. Watson.
I should like to have that man to myself for a few minutes in the street.
Now, have a brandy, Watson. It will calm your irritation.
Irritating does not do him justice.
I believe, Watson, this calls for what you like to call one of my disguises. I promise you, my friend, Milverton shall be paid in full.
Under his calm demeanor, I recognized the fire of Holmes's anger. Minutes after he left the room, a rakish young workman in worn clothes sauntered in from the door in which Holmes had exited. He had a bit of swagger, this stonemason, a smudge on his cheek, and he lit a clay pipe, gave me a wink, and descended into the street. During my times with Holmes, he is transformed into a crippled beggar, a top-hatted taxi driver, and a rather attractive society woman. The last, I think he found most entertaining. To the best of my knowledge, he was never found out, accomplished what he set out to do, and it invariably raised his spirits. I sometimes wonder if Holmes preferred the company in which he had not had necessity of being himself. In the present case, I had heard nothing from Holmes for several days. At last, however, on a wild, tempestuous evening, the wind rattled and screamed against the windows, and Holmes had finally returned from his expedition, having removed his disguise.
Here I am again, Watson. It's an altogether delightful interlude.
Holmes, you've forgotten the nose.
Have I? Well, fortunately, I change clothes in my rooms. So, you not call me a marrying man, Watson.
By no means.
You'll be interested to hear that I'm engaged.
In less than a week.
To Milverton's housemaid.
Good heavens!
I wanted information, Watson.
But surely you have gone too far.
It was a most necessary step. You see before you a plumber with a rising business, Escott by name. I've walked out with her each evening and talked her ear off. Good heavens, those talks. However, I've got all I wanted. I know Milverton's house, I know the palm of my hand.
But the poor girl, Holmes.
Yes, I know. She will find an envelope with the month's wages.
But you've broken her heart.
She has a roving eye and will soon recover. Still, I have regrets, but you must play your cards as best you can when such a stake is upon the table. Fortunately, there's a rival in waiting who will cut me out in a trice. What a splendid night.
You like this weather?
Suits my purpose, Watson. I mean to burgle Milverton's house tonight.
For heaven's sake, think of what you are doing! If captured, your career would end unfairly in disgrace. You yourself would be at the mercy of this odious Milverton.
My dear fellow, I am never precipitated in my actions, nor would I adopt a course so dangerous if any other were possible.
Sometime, Holmes, one must simply leave the playing field.
Leave the field to Milverton. Watson, let us look at the matter clearly and fairly. Surely, you will admit the action is morally justifiable, though technically criminal. To burgle his house is no more than to forcibly take his pocketbook.
Yes.
And that is an action in which you are prepared to help me. Well?
Yes, it is morally justifiable so long as we take no articles save those that are used for illegal purpose.
In which case, we only have to consider the question of personal risk. Surely a gentleman must act when a lady is so desperately in need of help.
Agreed.
There's no other possible way of regaining the letters. Tomorrow is the last day of grace. Unless we get the letters back tonight, the villain will bring about her ruin.
I should like to wall the ruffian up in an abandoned wine cellar.
Why, you are quite a new Watson, Watson.
This man sticks in my craw.
We must play our last card. It is a duel, Watson, between this Milverton and ourselves. He had, as you saw, the best of the first exchanges. My self-respect and my reputation are concerned to fight it to a finish.
Well, I don't like it. But I suppose it must be. So when do we start?
You are not coming.
Then you are not going!
You threaten me, Watson.
I give you my word, and I never broke it in my life, that I will take a cab straight to the police station and give you away, unless you let me have this one adventure with you.
You cannot help me.
How do you know that? You can't tell what will happen. And besides, and you know this well, I am a much better shot than you. See here, other people besides you have self-respect and even reputations.
Mutiny, Watson! Punishable mutiny! Well, my dear fellow, Be it so. We have shared the same room for a number of years, and it would be amusing if we ended by sharing the same cell.
Subject closed, then?
Subject closed. You know, Watson, I'd always believed I would make a highly efficient criminal. See what I have here. This is a first-class, up-to-date burgling kit. You'll recall I took it off of Bones Brookfield, the society burglar.
Awfully nice manners.
Here we have a nickel-plated jimmy, diamond-tipped glass cutter, adaptable keys, and every modern improvement which the march of civilization demands. Have you a pair of silent shoes?
I have rubber-soled tennis shoes.
Excellent. And a mask?
I can make a pair out of some black silk.
You have, Watson, a strong natural turn for this sort of thing. Very good.
We should have some cold supper before we start.
Well spoken. We shall be at work before midnight. The maid says Milverton is a heavy sleeper and retires punctually at 10:30. With any luck, we'll be back here by 2 with the Lady Eva's letters in my pocket.
In Oxford Street, we took a hansom cab and drove it to the address in Hampstead. In the bitter cold, we consulted in the street.
The documents are contained inside a cabinet inside the fellow's study just outside Milverton's bedchamber. Agatha, that's my fiancée, says it's a joke in the servants' hall that it's impossible to wake the master. There is, I'm told, a beast of a dog that roams the garden. You might put your mask on here, I think. Everything is working splendidly.
I must confess, Holmes, that the role of house burglar incites my nerves.
One must remember all Milverton stands for.
Yes, of course.
That window is his bedroom. In it, the door leads directly to the study.
Holmes seized my hand, and I was vaguely conscious that we had entered a large room in which a cigar had been smoked not long before. Shh! Holmes had remarkable powers of seeing in the dark. As we entered, something rushed out at us. Coals of a fire showed red, and flame flickered, illuminating the room.
Milverton's bedroom is just over there. It would be wise to secure our retreat through the outer door. Wait! It is neither locked nor bolted. I don't like it. We've no time to lose, Watson. Stand by the door. If you hear anyone coming, bolt it on the inside, and we shall depart through the window. Time for my burglar's tools.
With a glow of admiration, Holmes unrolled his tools with the scientific accuracy of a surgeon performing a delicate operation. 2 drills, the jimmy, and several skeleton keys. For half an hour, Holmes worked at top speed. I heard a click. The door swung open. Suddenly, Holmes stopped and began to listen intently. In an instant, he closed the door, stuffed his tools into his pockets, and motioned for me to join him behind the curtains.
Late again. These women have no idea of time. My, you've made me lose a good night's sleep, my dear. I hope you'll prove worth it. You couldn't come at any other time, huh? Well, if you couldn't, you couldn't. The Countess is a hard mistress, but now you'll have your chance to get level with her. Let's get down to business. You say you have 5 letters which compromise the Countess de Albert. You want to sell them? I want to buy them. It only remains to fix a price. Of course, I would have to inspect the letters to make sure they're great specimens.
It is I, the woman whose life you have ruined.
You were so very obstinate. Why did you drive me to such extremities?
Murderer.
I assure you, I would not hurt a fly on my own accord. Every man has his business, and what was I to do?
Have mercy.
I put the price well within your means. You would not pay it.
So you sent the letters to my husband, and he, the noblest man who ever lived, A man whose boots you were unworthy to lace, broke his gallant heart and died.
You left me no alternative.
You remember that last night I came through that door. I begged and prayed you for mercy, and you laughed in my face, as you are trying to laugh now. Only your coward heart betrays you.
I'm only surprised to see you, my dear.
Yes. You never thought to see me here again. Well, Charles Milverton, what have you to say?
Don't imagine that you can bully me.
That is not my purpose.
I have to raise my voice, and my servants will come and have you arrested.
Of course you would.
Leave the room at once you came. I will say no more.
You will ruin no more lives as you have ruined mine. You will wring no more hearts as you have wrung mine. I will free women from a poisonous thing. Take that! And that! And that!
Hound of hell, you've done me!
Vermin.
Go, Watson. I will follow. Good day, Milverton.
Looking back as we ran, the whole house was one huge blaze of light. Holmes seemed to know the grounds perfectly. He sprung to the top of a 6-foot wall, with me close at his heels, one man chasing us. I felt something grab at my ankle, but I kicked myself free and fell over the ivy-strewn fencing, landing on my face among some bushes. Holmes helped me to my feet. We ran some 2 miles. Holmes stopped and listened behind us. All was silent.
Poured a cup of tea for you, Watson. There's toast and a bit of marmalade as well.
Well, you look quite composed, Holmes.
I was grateful, Watson, for the exercise.
Quite criminal, you know.
Would either of you gentlemen care for a coddled egg?
I think not, Mrs. Hudson. The tea will suffice.
Then may I send with the visitor?
Has a visitor a name, Mrs. Hudson?
Miss Lestrade of Scotland Yard.
Detective Lestrade is always welcome.
You know, Holmes, I would have actually liked an egg.
You prefer an egg to Lestrade?
Always.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes, Mr. Watson. May I ask if you are very busy just now?
Not too busy to listen to you.
Do I smell the aroma of Mrs. Hudson's excellent biscuits?
No.
Pity. I thought that, perhaps, if you had nothing particular on hand, you would care to assist us in a most remarkable case which occurred just last night in Hampstead.
Dear me, what was that?
A murder. A most remarkable and dramatic murder. I would take it as a great favor if you would give us the benefit of your advice. This Milverton, a bit of a villain, has been in our sights for some time. A blackmailer, we believe, known to have held personal papers of distressing content. These papers seem to have been taken by the murderers, perhaps to prevent social exposure.
Murderers, plural?
Yes, there were 2 of them, nearly captured red-handed.
Ah.
We have their footmarks and a basic description. The first fellow was of an athletic sort, but the second fellow was caught by an undergardener and got away only after a struggle. Middle-sized, of medium age, and slightly overweight.
That's rather vague. Why, it might be a description of Watson.
It's true, it could be Watson.
I'm afraid I can't help you, Lestrade. The fact of the matter is, I knew this fellow Milverton and considered him one of the most dangerous men in London, and I believe there are some crimes that the law cannot touch, and thus, to some extent, justify private revenge. My sympathies, Lestrade, are with the criminals rather than the victim, and I shall not take this case.
Understood.
Do you think she knows?
My deductive powers do not extend that far, and my intuitions I keep to myself.
That girl, she was magnificent, although I couldn't make out her name behind those suffocating curtains.
All for the best. Too close to the Queen to have a name. Far too close. One does not wish Her Majesty to be mentioned in the same breath as dear deceased Milverton. My only regret is we are now without a case.
The very thing I'm glad of, Holmes. A man's occasional relaxation is a needed restorative. I now need a respite from my depredations as a burglar. Crisp fall day. Bit of sun at last. Hello. Here comes a madman running along. It is awfully sad that his relatives should let him out alone. As he runs, he throws his hands up in the air, wriggles his head, and rides his full face into all sorts of contortions. What on earth can be the matter with him?
Quite remarkable. You know, I believe he is coming here.
Here?
Yes, coming to consult me professionally. I recognize the symptoms. Ha! Did I not tell you?
A great eccentric, Holmes. Why is it that so few normal people come to visit us?
They recognize us, Watson, as their kind.
I cannot. It is too much. Too much, I say. Singled out by fate. I simply cannot bear it.
All right, now.
Easy and easy.
A bit of a sit down, that's the ticket.
No, no, you must hear me.
And that we will. Watson, bit of water for our friend. You have come to tell me your story, have you not? There we are now. Nature's remedy, eh? You are fatigued from your haste. Pray wait until you have composed yourself, and I shall be most happy to look into any little problem which you may submit to me. Finish the glass, sir. It will do you wonderfully.
No doubt you think me mad.
I see you've had some great trouble.
Well spoken. I have a trouble which is enough to unseat reason. So sudden and so terrible is it. Public disgrace I may have faced, although I'm a man whose character is not yet born a stain. Public affliction also is the lot of every human. But the two coming together in so frightful a form have been enough to shake my very soul.
Calm and clear, my man.
Besides, it is not I alone. The very noblest in the land may suffer, unless we find some way out of this horrible affair.
Pray compose yourself, sir. And let us have a clear account of who you are and what is that has befallen you.
My name is Alexander Holder, of the baking firm of Holder and Stevenson of Threadneedle Street.
Your name is familiar to us, sir.
Time is of value here, and that is why I hastened here when the police inspector suggested that I secure your cooperation. For that is why I am so out of breath, for I take very little exercise.
Go on.
It is well known to you that baking depends on finding remunerative investments for our funds and increasing our number of depositors. One lucrative means is in the shape of loans with good security.
Brevity, sir.
Yesterday in my office, I received a card. The name was one of the highest, noblest, most exalted names of all of England. This august gentleman plunged into my office at once, with the air of his visit being a very disagreeable task.
Mr. Holder, I have been informed you are in the habit of advancing money.
Indeed, the security being good.
It is essential I should have £50,000 at once. I could, of course, borrow so trifling a sum 10 times over from my friends, but I prefer to be a man of business. I consider it unwise to place oneself under obligation to acquaintances.
For how long do you want this sum?
Next Monday I have a large sum due to me. I should repay whatever you advance, with whatever interest you think it right to charge.
You will understand that I must insist that even in your case, Every business-like precaution should be taken.
Just so. You have doubtless heard of the barrel coronet.
One of the most prized public possessions of the British Empire.
Precisely. There are 39 enormous barrels and an incalculable amount of gold connection. The lowest estimate would put the worth of the coronet at double or triple what I've asked.
I see.
You doubt its value?
Not at all.
The security is sufficient.
Ample.
I rely on you not only to be discreet, but to take every possible precaution, because a great public scandal will be caused were any harm to befall it.
It goes without saying.
Any injury to it will be almost as serious as a complete loss, for it is irreplaceable. I leave it with you, however. With every confidence, I shall call for it in person on Monday morning.
I called in my cashier, ordering him to pay in 50 £1,000 notes. I was beset with misgivings for my immense responsibility. I already regretted taking charge of it, but carefully locked it in my private safe and returned once more to my work. When the evening came, I felt it would be so imprudent to leave so precious an object in the office alone.
It is true that banker safes have recently been forced.
You see, I therefore determined it would be best to carry it with me. I locked it in the bureau of my dressing room.
Who is in your household?
3 maidservants who have been with me for years, absolutely above suspicion. Another, Lucy Parr, is recent, but came with excellent references. She's a very pretty girl, and admirers have sometimes hung about. I found her to be always reliable.
And your family?
A son, Arthur. I spoiled him, I fear. When my wife died, he was all I had to love.
May we hear more of him?
He proved not to have a business turn. Wild and wayward, I'm afraid.
Grown now?
Quite. Plays with cards and squanders money. He has implored me for advice in settling debts of honor. He's tried to break away from dangerous company, but is drawn back by his friend, George Burnwell.
Describe.
Indeed. I do not believe that such a man as George Burnwell should gain an influence over him, for he is frequently brought into my house, and I have found that I could hardly resist the fascination of his manner. He is a man of the world to his fingertips, been everywhere, seen everything, and possesses a great deal of personal beauty. It's when I think of him in cold blood, I am convinced by the glamour of his presence and his cynical speech that he is a man who should be distrusted.
Cold-blooded?
Perhaps, but I have not seen that side of the man.
But you do think untrustworthy?
Yes. My niece Mary, whom I have adopted, is of that opinion. She's the sunbeam of my home. She's my right hand. I do not know what I would do without her. Twice my boy has asked for her hand in marriage, but she has refused him.
On what grounds?
Reliability, I think. She would have drawn him on the right path, but I believe it is too late.
And that describes all under your roof?
All.
And have you told any of the coronet?
The first night after coffee, I told Mary and Arthur of the precious treasure, only revealing the name of my client.
Might servants have overheard?
Lucy Parr brought the coffee, but had left the room. Mary and Arthur had asked to see the precious treasure, but I had decided not to reveal its nest in my bureau.
We must hope it will not be burgled during the night.
I told Arthur it was locked up.
Many keys will fit a bureau, Mr. Holder.
That night, Arthur followed me into my room with a very grave face. You wish to see me, Arthur?
Yes, sir.
Speak then.
Look here. Dad. Can you let me have £200?
Good heavens, Arthur. No, I cannot. I've been far too kind with you regarding money matters.
You have been very kind.
And let's leave it there.
I must have this money, sir, or else I can never show my face inside the club again.
And a very good thing, too.
Surely, you are not going to have me leave the club a dishonorable man. I cannot bear the disgrace. I must raise this money in some way, and
If you will not let me have it, then I'm afraid I must try other means.
You shall not have another farthing from me, Arthur.
Is all well, Father?
The eternal argument with Arthur.
I fear he has been drinking. He takes it badly.
It is painful to discuss, dear.
I'm sorry. Tell me, Dad, did you give Lucy the maid leave to go out tonight?
Certainly not.
She came in just now by the back door.
How long has she been gone?
I've no doubt that she's only been to the side gate to see someone, but in the circumstance you've described, I think that is hardly safe and should be stopped.
I will speak to her in the morning. Are you sure everything is fastened?
Quite sure.
Then good night. I am endeavoring to tell all, Mr. Holmes, that you will question me on any points I do not make clear.
On the contrary, your statement is extremely lucid.
I am relieved.
Continue.
I'm not a heavy sleeper. About 2 in the morning, I was awoken by a sound in the house. I lay listening, restless and alert. Suddenly, to my horror, there was the sound of footsteps coming from the next room. I slipped to the bed and looked around the corner of my dressing room door. Arthur! Villain! Thief! You have destroyed it! Where are the jewels you have stolen?
Stolen?
Yes, thief.
There are none missing. There cannot be any missing.
There are 3 wrenched out, and you know where they are. Must I call you a liar as well as a thief? I saw you trying to tell us another piece.
You have called me names long enough. I will not stand it any longer.
Where are they?
I should not say another word about this business. I will leave your house in the morning and make my own way in the world.
You shall leave in the hands of the police.
You shall learn nothing if you choose to call the police. Let the police find what they can.
What has happened, Uncle?
Send for the police.
What has happened?
Do as I say. Now, Mary.
Is it your intention to charge me with theft?
It has ceased to be a private matter and become a public one. The coronet is a national treasure.
At least you will not have me arrested at once. It would be to your advantage as well as mine if I might leave the house for 5 minutes.
That you may get away or conceal what you have done. Not only is my honor at stake, but that of one far greater. It will be a public scandal that will convulse the nation. You may advert it all if you will, but tell me what you have done with the stones. Then all will be forgiven and forgotten.
Keep your forgiveness for those who ask for it.
There was, with Mr. Holmes, one path. This morning, Arthur was taken into custody. A search of his room was made, but nothing was found.
And elsewhere?
The house and grounds. The wretched boy was silent and removed to a cell. Then I came to you. The police are at a loss. You may go at any expense you find necessary. I've already offered a reward of £1,000. What shall I do? I have lost my honor, my gems, and my son, all in one night.
Do you receive much company?
My partner and his family, Arthur's friends.
Are you out in society?
My son does. Mary and I stay at home.
That is unusual in a young girl.
She's of a quiet nature.
This must be a great shock to her.
Terrible.
Neither of you have a doubt as to your son's guilt.
How can we, when I saw him hold the coronet with my own eyes?
That is not conclusive proof, Mr. Holder. The coronet was much injured.
Yes, it was twisted.
Do you not think, then, that he might have been trying to straighten it?
God bless you. You are doing this for him and for me, but it is too heavy a task. What was he doing there at all? If his purposes were innocent, Why did he not say so?
Precisely. And if you were guilty, why did he not invent a lie? The silence cuts both ways.
Yes,
What did the police think of the noise that woke you from your sleep?
that perhaps it was Arthur closing his bedroom door.
Likely story, as if a man bent on committing a felony would slam the door as to wake the household.
What did they say then of the disappearance of the gems?
The police still seek them in the house.
And outside the house?
The whole garden has been examined.
Now, my dear sir, it appears to you to be a simple case. To me, it seems exceedingly complex.
Yes, but
Consider what is involved by your theory. You suppose your son came down from bed, went at great risk into your dressing room, opened the bureau, removed the coronet, broke off by force a small portion of it, went some other place, concealed 3 gems out of 39 with such skill nobody can find them, and then returned with the other 36 to your dressing room where he exposed himself to the greatest danger. Is this tenable?
if his motives were innocent, why does he not explain them?
It is our task to find that out. We now, Mr. Holder, must return to your home and glance a little more closely into the details.
So off we went, a square house of white stone. On the right, a path to the study. On the left, a lane which led to the stables. Holmes left to wander the ground. Holder and I waited in the study for Holmes's return.
You have given orders that Arthur should be liberated, have you not, Uncle?
No, my girl. The matter must be probed to the bottom.
But he is innocent. I know that he has done no harm.
Why is he silent then, if he is innocent?
Perhaps he is angry that you should suspect him.
I saw him hold the coronet in his hand.
But perhaps he only picked it up to look at it. Do let the matter drop. It is so dreadful to think of him in prison.
Mary, your affection for Arthur blinds you to the awful consequences for me. We cannot hush it up. I brought a gentleman down from London to inquire more deeply.
This gentleman?
This gentleman's friend. He's examining the stable lane.
The stable lane. What can he hope to find there?
Good evening. I am Sherlock Holmes, and there stands the Honourable Dr. Watson. I believe I have the honour of addressing Miss Mary Holder. Might I ask you a question or two?
If it may help clear this horrible affair up.
You heard nothing yourself last night.
Nothing until Uncle began to speak loudly. Then I came down.
You shut up all the windows and doors the night before, the windows fastened.
Yes?
Were they all fastened this morning?
Yes.
The other maid was a sweetheart. She had been out to see him last night?
Yes, she had been in the drawing room and may have heard Uncle's remarks about having the coronet.
I see. You infer the two may have planned a robbery.
But what's the good of these vague theories when I have told you I saw him with the coronet in his hand?
We will get to that, Mr. Holder. About this girl, Miss Holder. She returned by the kitchen door, I presume.
Yes, I saw the man too in the gloom.
Do you know him?
Yes, he's the greengrocer who brings our vegetables round. His name is Francis Prosper.
He stood to the left of the door, that is to say, farther up the path than is necessary to reach the door.
Yes, he did.
And is he a man with a wooden leg?
Why, you are like a magician. How do you know that?
I should be very glad now to go upstairs. I should possibly like to go over the outside of the house again, too. Perhaps I should look at the lower windows before I go up.
Many often consider Holmes a magician, whereas he himself only is considered a consulting detective. What that young girl considers magic, I, through years in Holmes's company, have come to see as close observation, remarkable intuition, and devotion to deduction. Perhaps taken together, it is a form of magic, though Holmes would dismiss that thought.
So, this is your dressing room, Mr. Holder.
It is.
And the coronet was locked in this bureau?
It was.
The key, please. A noiseless lock. It's no wonder it did not wake you. Now, Mr. Holder, you see the damaged corner which corresponds to that which has been so unfortunately lost. Pray, let us see you break off another piece.
I should not dream of trying.
Then I will. I feel it give a little, though I am exceptionally strong in the fingers. It would take me a very long time. And should I break it off, Mr. Holder, it would make a noise like a pistol shot. Do you mean to tell me this happened a few yards from your bed and you heard nothing of it?
I do not know what to think.
What do you think, Miss Holder?
I share my uncle's perplexity.
Your son had no shoes or slippers on when you saw him?
He had on nothing but a trousers and shirt.
Thank you. We've had good luck during our inquiry. It would be quite our own fault if we do not clear this matter up. With your permission, Mr. Holder, I should like to continue my investigation outside. I've seen all there is to see. I can best serve you by returning to my rooms in Baker Street.
With the gems, Mr. Holmes. Where are they?
I cannot tell.
I shall never see them again.
I did not say so.
And my son, can you give me hope?
My opinion is in no way altered.
Then what was this dark business that was acted out in my house last night?
If you will call upon me at my Baker Street rooms tomorrow, I shall do all I can to clear it up. I understand I'm free to act for you, provided I get back the gems, and that you place no limit on the sum I may draw.
I'd give my fortune to have them back.
Very good. Goodbye. It will be quite our own fault if we don't clear this matter up.
It was now obvious to me that my companion's mind was made up about this case. Upon returning to our chambers, Holmes disguised himself as a common loafer, with a shiny, seedy coat, red cravat, and worn boots. He told me he would return in several hours, slice a piece of roast beef, slapped it between two pieces of bread, and off he went. Several hours later, he returned home, changed into his regular clothes, and once more off he went. It was not until the next morning when I came down for breakfast that I found him fresh as a daisy, with coffee in his left hand, newspaper in his right, having returned home once again.
Ah, Watson. Sorry to take coffee before you, but we have an early appointment with our client. Ah, Mr. Holder. You look a bit all in. Do take a chair.
I do not know what I have done to be so severely tried. Only 2 days ago, I was a happy and prosperous man. But now, I am left to a lonely and dishonored old age. My niece Mary has deserted me.
Deserted you?
Yes. I noticed this morning her bed had not been slept in. Last night, I had said to her in sorrow that had she buried my boy, all might have been well with him. She had left a note saying that had she acted differently, this horrible misfortune may have not occurred. She had also said that she is no longer happy under my roof, and had left forever.
I might say, Mr. Holder, that is perhaps the best possible solution. I believe you are nearing an end to your troubles.
Do you say so? Have you learned something? Do you know where the gems might be?
You would not think £1,000 each an excessive sum for them?
I would pay 10.
Unnecessary. 3,000 will cover it. There's a little reward, I fancy. Have you your checkbook? I've a pen. Better make it out for 4,000.
You have it! I'm saved! I'm saved!
There is one thing you owe.
Name the sum and I will pay it.
The debt is not to me. You owe a very humble apology to your son, who carried himself in this matter as should make you proud indeed.
So it was not Arthur who took them?
It was not.
Are you sure of it? We must hurry and tell him.
He already knows it. After I cleared it up, I had an interview with him, and finding he would not tell me the story, I told him, and he added a few details that were not clear to me.
For heaven's sake, tell me!
I will do so. I will start with what will be the hardest for you to hear. There's been an understanding between Sir George Burnwell and your niece Mary. They have fled together.
Impossible.
It is certain. Neither you nor your son knows his true character. He is a ruined gambler, an absolutely desperate gambler, a man without heart or conscience. When he made his vows to her, as he had done to hundreds before her, she thought she had touched his heart.
I cannot, and I will not believe it.
Then I must tell you what occurred in your house that night. Your niece, when you thought she had gone to sleep, slipped down and talked to her lover through the window on the stable lane, his footmarks pressed right through the snow. She told him of the coronet and his lust for gold kindled. After Arthur had gone to bed, he heard footsteps pass by his room and, looking out, saw his cousin pass by and enter your dressing room. Arthur put on some clothes and waited in the dark to see what would come of this strange affair. She emerged, and in the light from the dressing room, he saw she carried the coronet. He followed her, and she handed the coronet out through the window and then returned to the room.
Remarkable, Holmes!
I cannot comprehend.
The instant she was gone, Arthur rushed down, opened the window, climbed into the snow barefoot, and caught up to Sir George Burnwell. They struggled over the coronet. In the scuffle, he cut Burnwell over the eye, and he let the coronet go. Arthur rushed back in, closed the window, returned to your dressing room, and was just attempting to straighten the coronet when you appeared upon the scene.
Is it possible?
You, Mr. Holder, called him names at the very moment he thought he deserved the warmest thanks. He cannot reveal the true state of affairs without betraying Mary. His chivalry preserved her secret.
And that is why she went to pieces when she saw it in his hand. My God, what a blind fool I have been. How cruelly I have misjudged him.
I went round the house looking for traces in the snow. When I got to the stable lane, the story was written in the snow in front of me.
Remarkable!
Tracks of a booted man and of a barefoot man. Where boots had raced round, signs of a struggle, drops of blood in boot tracks. When I returned to the house, I inspected the window and saw the outline of where a wet foot had been placed. The question now was, who was the man, and who brought him the coronet?
Your maxim, Holmes, when you have excluded the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
Well quoted, Watson. Now, Mr. Holder, I knew you had not brought down the coronet, so there remained your niece and the maids. But if it were a maid, why did Arthur allow himself to be accused in their place? As he loved his cousin, protecting her seemed a given. Who then was her confederate? You go out little, but are friends with Sir George Burnwell, a man of evil reputation among women. It must have been he, as his lust for gold was the talk of the town. Even after Arthur saw him, he knew he could not say anything without compromising his family.
But what proof, Holmes?
I went to his house in disguise, befriended his valet, learned that his master had cut his head the night before, and buying from the valet a pair of his used boots, I found fitted the tracks perfectly.
Well, because I know you, I know what the next step was.
Describe, Watson.
You confronted Burnwell.
Quite right. At first, he denied all. But then I saw him reach for his sword case, and I put a pistol to his head. It made our fellow quite reasonable. I told him I would buy the stones for the 1,000 apiece. Why, dash it all, he said, I passed them on for 600 apiece. Then I obtained from him the address of the receiver, and, promising no prosecution, got our stones for the 1,000 apiece. Then I looked in on your son, told him all was right, and returned to my bed at 2 a.m. after what I may call a hard day's work.
A day that has saved England from a great public scandal. I cannot find words to thank you.
There is no need.
Your skill far exceeds as I have heard of it. Gentlemen, I must rush to my boy with 1,000 apologies. As to what you tell me of poor Mary, it breaks my heart. Not even your skill can tell me where she is now.
I think we can safely say that she is wherever Sir George Burnwell is. It is equally certain, too, that whatever her sins are, they will soon receive more than sufficient punishment.
morning, Holmes. One hopes one does not interrupt. Here is a very fashionable letter if it's out to sell, Miss the Guide. Yesterday's, I recall, were from a fishmonger and an enraged waiter.
Indeed, Watson, we do not lack the charm of variety. This, however, smells of a social summons, which calls upon a man either to be deathly bored or lie entertainingly.
Have a look, Holmes.
Oh, this may prove to be something of interest after all.
Not social, then?
No, distinctly professional, from one of the highest in England.
I congratulate you.
It's quite interesting. You've been reading the papers diligently, have you not?
As you have turned down case after case, I have nothing else to do.
To be bored doing the work one cares about is perhaps the worst boredom of all. You've read about Lord St. Simon and his wedding?
With deep interest.
The letter is from that very man. It says that he contacts us on the subject of his wedding. Mr. Lestrade of Scotland Yard is acting already on the matter, but says he has no objection to cooperation. He will call it full.
An hour away.
Sir Robert Walsingham de Vere St. Simon, second son, etc., etc., Under-Secretary in the colonies, so on and so on. I must turn to you, Watson, for something more solid.
My first memories of a personal column in the Morning Post speaking of our man's marriage to a Miss Hattie Doran, only daughter of someone or other in some place called Georgia, America.
Terse, but useful.
Here we are. Lord St. Simon has announced his approaching marriage. Miss Doran, whose striking figure and elegant manner have attracted much attention, is an only child, and her dowry will run to considerably more than 6 figures. Lord St. Simon, it is rumored, has recently sold many paintings, is not the only gainer from an alliance, from a stately home that will allow the heiress the easy transition from a southern lady to a British peeress.
Anything else?
A paragraph that says the wedding will be a small one, a curt announcement that the wedding has taken place. I believe that's all before the disappearance of the bride.
Before the what?
The vanishing of the lady.
From whence?
The wedding breakfast.
Excellent. Far more interesting than one thought. Brides and grooms often vanish from the ceremony, but I do not recall anything quite as prompt as this. Pray, let me have the details.
I summarize. Some trouble at the wedding breakfast by a woman whose name has not been ascertained, who then tried to force her way into the home, saying she had a claim upon Lord Simon, was ejected by the butler and a footman. The bride then left the table, claiming to feel ill. Lord Simon, after a bit, went up after her, but was told by the maid that she went almost immediately out. Energetic inquiries were made by the police to no end. Rumors of foul play abound, and the police have since arrested the woman who made the disturbance.
Anything else?
One other item. Yes, here we are. Miss Flora Miller, the disturber at breakfast, seems to have been a dancer at the Allegro Cafe, and to have been the bridegroom for some years.
Well, I would not have missed this for the world. This is almost as good as a play.
Miss Holmes.
Indeed. This is my friend and partner, Dr. Watson. Do take a chair.
A painful matter, Miss Holmes. I understand that you've managed several delicate cases of the sort, though I presume hardly from the same class in society.
No, I am descending.
Beg pardon?
My last client of the sort was a king.
A king? What sort of king?
The king of Scandinavia.
And his wife had gone missing?
I extend to all my clients the same secrecy which I promised to you and yours.
Beg pardon. How may I help in this matter?
When did you first meet Miss Hattie Doran?
We were both in San Francisco at the very same moment.
Did you become engaged then?
No.
Her father is very rich.
He is said to be the richest man of the American South.
How did he make his money?
Mixing in different states, he struck gold, invested it, and came up leaps and bounds.
And what is your impression of the young lady's, your wife's, character?
Character, you ask? Well, my wife was 20 before her father became rich. In the meantime, she ran in mining camps and played in the woods and forests. So her education comes from nature rather than the schoolmaster. Wild and free, unfettered by any sort of tradition.
Good thing, that.
Impetuous, perhaps?
Volcanic. She is swift in making up her mind and fearless in carrying out her intentions. Though I would not have given her my name if I did not think her noble in nature. Anything dishonorable would be repugnant to her.
Have you her photograph?
Ah, yes, a miniature portrait.
You renewed your acquaintance in London?
Yes, her father brought her over. We met often, became engaged, and I have since married her.
A considerable dowry.
No more than usual in my family.
And the dowry is yours even with her absence?
Don't know. Made no inquiries.
Of course. You saw her the day before the wedding?
She was in good spirits, talked of our future.
And the morning of the wedding?
Right enough, till at least after the wedding.
And the change you observed?
Temper a little sharp.
In what way?
Oh, it's childish. She dropped her bouquet as we walked to the aisle, fell into the front pew. A gentleman picked it up, handed it to her, none the worse for wear. In the carriage later, it seemed to agitate her.
A gentleman, you say? Some of the general public was present then?
One cannot exclude them when the church is open.
And the gentleman was not one of your wife's friends?
I call him gentleman by courtesy. Common-looking man.
But the Lady St. Simon returned from the wedding in a less cheerful state of mind.
Yes, she was seen walking in the company of a maid. Alice is her name. She came over the water with her, seemed prone to taking liberties. Americans look upon these things differently.
You did not overhear what they said?
Lady St. Simon said something about jumping a claim. American slang, I gather.
And then?
And then she walked into the breakfast room.
On your arm?
She was independent on such matters. We sat down, she rose hurriedly, and left the room. She never came back.
But as I understand it, this Alice disposes that she went to a room, covered the bride's dress in a long coat, put on a bonnet, and went out.
Quite so. She was later seen walking in the company of Miss Flora Miller, now in custody, who had made the disturbance at Mr. Dorn's house that morning.
And your relation to Flora Miller?
We have been on friendly footing. I may say very friendly footing. She used to dance at the Allegro. I had not been ungenerous to her, and she had no just cause of complaint against me. Flora was hot-headed and devotedly attached to me. She wrote dreadful letters when she heard of the marriage. One reason for the small wedding was that I feared a scandal in church. Flora came to Mr. Dorn's house that morning and uttered abusive expression towards my wife, even threatening her. Foreseeing this, I had 2 officers in plain clothes, and they moved her out.
Did your wife hear all this?
Thank the heavens, no.
Odd she was seen walking with the woman afterward.
Yes, Lestrade of Scotland Yard fears it. It may be a trap for my wife.
I do not think it probable. Do you?
I do not think Flora would hurt a fly.
Have you a theory of it all?
I place my trust in you, Miss Holmes. Perhaps some nervous disturbance.
Certainly conceivable. Well, Lord St. Simon, I have a good deal of data. Tell me, were you seated at the breakfast table so that you could see out the window?
Our view was the other side of the road in the park.
Quite so. I need not detain you longer. I shall communicate.
Should you be fortunate enough to solve this problem?
I have solved it.
Then where is my wife?
That is a detail I shall speedily supply.
You are not to be Holmes.
The compliment is accepted. It is very good of the Lord to honor my head by putting it on a level with his own.
What was the clue he gave you?
I had formed my conclusion before he arrived.
My dear Holmes.
Our meeting turned my conjecture into a certainty.
But I have heard all that you have heard.
Without, however, the previous cases that saved me. Lestrade, good afternoon. Oh dear, you look dissatisfied.
And I feel dissatisfied. It is this infernal St. Simon marriage case. I can make neither head nor tail of it.
Really? You surprise me.
Oh, I have been at work at it all day.
And very wet it seems to have made you.
Yes, I've been dragging in the river.
In heaven's name, what for?
The body of Lady St. Simon.
Have you drugged the Trafalgar Square fountain? You have as good a chance of finding the lady in one as the other.
I suppose you know all about it.
My mind is made up.
Wedding dress, white satin shoes, bride's wreath, and veil. There is a little nut for you to crack, Master Holmes. They were found floating near the edge of the river, thus the body would not be far off.
By the same reasoning, everybody is to be found near their wardrobe. And your conclusion?
That this implicates Flora Miller in the disappearance.
You may find that difficult.
In the dress is a pocket. In the pocket is a card case. The card case is a note. You will see me when it is all ready. Come at once. F.H.M. My theory is that Lady St. Simon was decoyed away by Flora Miller, and that she, with Confederates, was responsible for her disappearance. This very note slipped in her hand at the door, lured her within their reach.
Very good, Lestrade. Let me see the paper. This is very interesting.
You find it so?
Extremely. I congratulate you warmly.
What? You're looking at the wrong side.
On the contrary, this is the right side.
You're mad. Here's the note, written in pencil.
And on the back, a fragment of a hotel bill which interests me deeply.
Nothing of interest. I looked at it before. October 4th. Rooms, 8 shillings. Breakfast, 2 shillings. Cocktail, 1 shilling. Lunch, 2 shillings. Glass of sherry, 8 shillings.
Most important. The note? Also important. At least, the initials are.
I've wasted time enough. I believe in hard work, not sitting by the fire spinning fine theories. Good day, Miss Holmes. We shall see which gets to the bottom of the matter first.
Just one hint to you, Lestrade. The true solution to the matter is that Lady St. Simon is a myth. There has never been such a person.
Utter nonsense, Holmes. Good day.
You're back. Indeed. I fancy we may have some company dropping in. Here you are. My messenger reached you then?
Yes, and I confess the contents startled me greatly. Have you good authority for what you say?
The best possible.
One of the Duke's family subject to such humiliation?
It is the purest accident. I do not believe there is any humiliation.
You look upon these things from a different point of view.
I fail to see how anyone is to blame. I can hardly see how the lady could have done otherwise, though her abrupt method of doing it was undoubtedly to be regretted.
It was a slight, sir. Ma'am, a public slight.
You must make allowance for this poor girl placed in so unprecedented a position.
I will make no allowance. I am very angry indeed. I've been shamefully used.
Ah, I hear our guests arriving. Let us go down to the parlor. Here we are, and here they are. Lord St. Simon, allow me to introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Francis Hay Moulton, the lady I think you have already met.
You're angry, Robert. Well, I guess you have every cause to be.
Pray, make no apology to me.
Well, I know I have treated you real bad, and I've caused you a lot of pain, but to tell the truth and shame the devil, I was kind of rattled. And from the time I saw Frank here again, I was all to pieces. It's a wonder I didn't do a faint right there at the altar.
Perhaps you would like Watson and myself to leave the room while you explain the matter.
I believe we've had a little too much secrecy already.
All right then, I'll tell the story straight away. Frank here and I met in the mining camp where Pa was working a claim. Pa's claim struck and Frank's claim petered out, so Pa wouldn't see to our engagement and took me away. Frank followed and Pa was having a fit, so we saw to it ourselves. Frank said he would make his pile too and wouldn't claim me until he had just as much as Pa, so I promised I wouldn't marry anybody else. Shoot, it was all so silly, so we scared up a clergyman and did it right there. Frank went back, and I went back to Pa. Came to be I heard Frank was killed in a mining accident in New Mexico. I was dead sick for a year. Then Lord St. Simon and me met up. He took me to London, and pretty soon a marriage was arranged. What was I supposed to do? I just had to move on. And there I was at the altar, and there Frank was in the front pew. I almost did a faint right there. I saw him scribble something down on a piece of paper, so on my way out I dropped my bouquet right by him and he slipped me the note. It was only a line telling me to follow him when he gave me the signal. I mean, he was my first claim and that was very clear. So I went back to my maid and told her what a hullabaloo I was in, and she gathered up some things for me. Down at breakfast, I saw Frank out the window and he gave me the signal, so I slipped out and followed him. I'm not boring y'all, am I?
Oh, I think not.
Well, good. Outside, some lady grabbed a hold of me and started some tirade about Lord St. Simon. Seems you had a little secret before the wedding too, huh, Robert? Frank and I went off. Turns out Frank was called out dead at the mine, but woke up in the funeral van. He tracked me down, showed up to London, and there he was at the wedding.
The newspaper said the wear and the win of the wedding.
I was just so embarrassed of it all, I wanted to vanish away. Frank bundled up some of my wedding things and dropped them off someplace or other. We would have been in Paris there tonight if it weren't for Miss Holmes tracking us down. Don't know how she got a hold of us, and said we might owe you an explanation. Now, Robert, I am real sorry for causing you pain, and I hope you won't think too meanly of me.
It's not my custom to discuss my personal affairs in such a public manner.
Would you at least shake my hand before you go?
If it would give you pleasure.
Well, how about we all go out to dinner?
There, you ask too much. I am very angry indeed, and have been shamefully used. I wish you all a good night.
Well, you have to admit he's a little bit of a starched shirt.
I fear he is. I trust you will all honor me with your company. It's always nice to meet an American, Mrs. Moulton. You all have the great quality of coming right to the point.
Well, isn't that as sweet as a puppy on your pillow? Lead on.
A remarkable woman.
Exemplary, my dear Watson. Watson, if not our most profound case, perhaps the most amusing.
An oddity, I think.
Nothing stranger than the sequence of events narrated by this woman, and nothing more odd when viewed by Lestrade of Scotland Yard.
But how?
Here was a woman willing to undergo the marriage ceremony, and then in an instant change her mind. Had she seen someone then? If so, it must be an American, because she had only just arrived in England and knew no one who could have such influence over her. Who then might this person be? Only a husband or a lover, Watson? When told of the man in the pew, the bride's change in manner, and her allusion to claim jumping, it was clear.
How on earth did you find them?
The list on the back of the note. The prices, Watson. 8 shillings for a bed and 8 shillings for a glass of sherry meant a select hotel. On my third try, I found them and pointed out they had everything to gain if they clarified the situation both to the general public and Lord Simon. They agreed and came to see us. I drummed up Lord Simon, and there was clarification.
Lord St. Simon's conduct was certainly not very gracious.
None would be gracious if after wooing and wedding you found yourself deprived in an instant of a fortune and a wife. So, let us share a glass of commonplace sherry, draw up a chair and hand me my violin, for the only problem left to solve is how to while away these bleak autumn evenings.
I am often asked what case surpasses all in my estimation, and of course they are too various to be successfully compared, but I will leave you with one that I can confidently assert had more singular features than any other I documented. Holmes, of course, would say that singularity is simply an event waiting for another to occur. To this I replied that not everything can be experienced in a single lifetime, and we can only name those things we have in hand. I recall—
So sorry to burst in upon you, Watson, but it is the common lot this morning. I burst in upon my estimable housekeeper, Mrs. Hudson. She retorted upon me, and now I on you.
What is it then? A fire?
No, a client. It seems a young lady in a considerable state of excitement has come seeking me. Now, she is sitting now in the waiting room. Now, when young ladies wander about the metropolis at this unheard hour of the morning, I assume it is something pressing. Should the case prove to be as interesting as the hour, you may wish to follow it at the outset.
My dear Holmes, I would not miss it for anything.
Good morning, madam. My name is Sherlock Holmes. This is my intimate friend and associate, Dr. Watson, before whom you may speak freely. I shall order you a hot coffee, for I observe you are shivering.
It is not the cold which makes me shiver.
What then?
It is fear, Miss Holmes. It is terror.
You must not fear. We shall soon set matters right, I have no doubt. You have come in by train this morning, I see?
You know me, then?
No, but I observed the second half of a return ticket in your left hand. You must have started early, and yet you had a long drive in a dog cart along difficult roads before you reached the station.
But how could you possibly know?
It is no mystery, my dear madam. Your left arm is spattered with mud in no less than 7 places. There is no vehicle save a dog cart, which throws up mud in that way, and then only when you sit on the left-hand side of the driver.
You are perfectly correct, madam. I can stand this strain no longer. I shall go mad if it continues. I have no one to turn to. None, save only one who cares for me, and he, poor fellow, can be of little aid. I have heard of you, Miss Holmes, from Mrs. Farintosh, whom you helped in her hour of sore need.
Farintosh? I recall. It concerned, I believe, a gold pen and a King Charles Spaniel.
Oh, madam, do you not think you too could help and pierce this dense darkness that surrounds me? At present it is out of my power to reward you for your services, but in a month or 6 weeks I shall be married, with the control of my own income, and then at least you shall not find me ungrateful.
I assure you, madam, I shall be happy to devote the same care to your case as I did to that of your friend. Now, I beg that you will lay before us everything that may help us in forming an opinion about the matter.
Here you are, dear. A touch hot, so be careful.
Thank you.
Anything for you and Watson, Miss Holmes?
Alas. The very horror of my situation lies on the fact that my fears are vague and rest upon small points that might seem trivial to another. Even he to whom I might look for help out of all others considers it the fancies of a nervous woman.
I am all attention, madam.
My name is Helen Stoner, and I'm living with my stepfather, who was the last survivor of the Roylotts of Stoke Moran.
The name is familiar to me.
My family was, at one time, among the richest in England. However, 4 successive heirs were of a dissolute and wasteful disposition. Nothing was left save a few acres of ground in the 200-year-old home, which was itself crushed under a heavy mortgage. My stepfather obtained an advance from a relative, which enabled him to get a medical degree and go out to Calcutta, where he established a large practice. In a fit of anger, however, he nearly beat his butler to death, and narrowly escaped the sentence of death. As it was, he suffered a long term of imprisonment and returned to England a morose and disappointed man.
He married on his return.
In India, he married my mother, Mrs. Stoner, widow of Major General Stoner. My sister Julie and I were twins, only 2 years old at the time of my mother's remarriage. She had a considerable sum of money which she bequeathed entirely to Dr. Roylott while we resided with him, with the provision that a certain annual sum should be allowed to each of us in the event of our marriage. Shortly after our return to England, my mother died in a railway accident. At that time, Dr. Roylott abandoned his practice and took us to live with him in Stoke Moran. But a terrible change came over my stepfather. He shut himself up in the house and seldom came out, save to indulge in ferocious quarrels with whomever might cross his path. Violence of temper was often found in the men of his family, was perhaps intensified by the difficulties of his stay in the tropics. He became the terror of the village, and folks would shut themselves up at his approach.
Were there incidents?
Last week, he hurled the local blacksmith over a parapet into a stream. It was only by gathering all the money I could that a trial was averted. He also has a passion for Indian animals, which he has sent to him. And he has, at this moment, a cheetah and a baboon who wander our grounds and are much feared by the villagers.
Dear me.
My sister Julie and I have had little pleasure in our lives. No servant would stay with us. We had to do all the work of the house. She was but 30 at the time of her death.
Your sister is dead then?
She died 2 years ago, and it is of her death I wish to speak to you. Living the life I have described, we saw few of our own age and position. We had, however, an aunt, Miss Heronia Westphale, whom we were allowed to pay short visits. Julia went there for Christmas 2 years ago and met a major of the Marines to whom she became engaged. My stepfather made no opposition to the marriage, but within a fortnight of the date fixed for the wedding, the terrible event occurred.
Pray be precise as to details.
They are seared into my memory. Only one wing of the manor house is now inhabited. The bedrooms are on the ground floor. Of these bedrooms, the first is Dr. Roylott's, the second my sister's, and the third my own.
All opening onto the same corridor?
Yes. The windows of the 3 open out upon the lawn. That fatal night Dr. Roylott went to his room early. My sister was troubled by the smell of the strong Indian cigars. She thus left her room and came into mine. At 11 o'clock she rose to leave me, but stopped, saying, "Tell me, Helen, have you ever heard anyone whistle in the dead of night?" Here, on the property?
Yes.
Never.
Then I don't suppose you yourself could whistle in your sleep.
Certainly not. But why?
For the last few nights, I have heard, always around 3 in the morning, a low, clear whistle. I cannot tell where it came from. Perhaps from the next room, perhaps from the lawn. I thought I would ask you about it.
I have not heard it. There are sometimes gypsies about.
Yet, if it were outside, I wonder that you did not hear it.
I fear I sleep more heavily than you do.
Don't you think, Holmes?
More interesting than odd, I think. Was it your custom always to lock yourselves in at night?
Always.
And why?
I believe I mentioned to you the doctor kept a cheetah and a baboon. My sister and I feared them.
Quite so.
I could not sleep that night. I felt an impending misfortune. My sister and I, you will recollect, were twins, though not identical. But she might be feeling. I felt as well. The wind and rain were fierce that night, but above nature's hubbub, there burst forth the wild scream of a terrified woman.
Your sister, of course.
Yes. I sprang from my bed, wrapped a shawl around me, and rushed into the corridor. I heard the low whistle my sister had described. Then a clanging, as if a mass of metal had fallen. My sister's door opened and she appeared, her face blanched with horror, her hands groping for help.
Good heavens.
She fell to the ground, writhing with terrible pain. As I bent over her, she whispered. It was the band, the speckled band. She stabbed her finger in the air, pointed at the doctor's room. But a fresh convulsion choked her words. I called out, and my stepfather hastened from his room in a dressing gown. He poured brandy down her throat and sent for medical, but all efforts were in vain. Such was the dreadful end of my beloved sister.
One moment. You are certain of the whistle and the metal sound? You would swear to it?
It is my strong impression, yet among the crash of the gale and the creaking of an old house, I may have possibly been deceived.
Was your sister dressed?
A nightdress only. In her right hand a charred match, and in her left a matchbook.
She looked about her when the alarm took place. Good. And what were the coroner's conclusions?
They found no satisfactory cause of death. The windows were blocked by shutters secured with iron bars. The walls solid, the floor intact, the chimney bricked up. It is certain my sister was quite alone when she met her end. Besides, there were no marks of violence upon her.
Poison, perhaps?
She was examined for it, but without success. I believe she died of pure fear and nervous shock. What so frightened her, I cannot imagine.
And what is your impression of this allusion to a speckled band?
Perhaps an allusion to a band of gypsies? They often wear speckled headwear.
These are deep waters. Pray, proceed.
2 years have passed and I'm lonelier than ever. A month ago, a dear friend of mine, who I have known for many years, asked for my hand in marriage. His name is Percy Armitage. My stepfather has made no opposition to the match, and we are to be married in the spring.
Has he spoken his approval?
He does not choose to mention it. 2 days ago, some repairs were started in the west wing of the building. My bedroom wall has to be pierced so that I have had to move into the room in which my sister died. Imagine then, my thrill of horror when last night, as I lay awake, thinking over her terrible fate, I suddenly hear in the silence of the night the low whistle which had been the herald of her own death.
But this is terrible.
I sprang up and lit the lamp, but there was nothing to be seen in the room. I was too startled to go to bed again. I dressed as soon as it was daylight, and I've come here this morning with the sole purpose of seeing you and asking your advice.
You have done wisely, but have you told me all?
Yes, all.
Miss Roylott, you have not. You are screening your stepfather.
Why, what do you mean?
Here are the marks of 4 fingers and a thumb. You've been cruelly used.
He is a hard man and does not know his own strength.
Miss Roylott, we haven't a moment to lose. If we were to go to Stoke Morans today, would it be possible for us to examine the rooms without the knowledge of your stepfather?
He spoke of coming to town today upon important business, and would be away all day, so there would be nothing to disturb you.
Excellent. You are not averse to this trip, Watson?
By no means.
And what are your plans, Miss Roylott?
I have one or two things I should wish to do now that I am in town, but will return home on the 12 o'clock train so as to be there in time for your coming.
Will you not wait and breakfast?
No, I must go. My heart is lightened since I have confided my trouble. I look forward to seeing you again this afternoon.
What do you think of it all, Watson?
It seems to be a most dark and sinister business.
Indeed.
Her sister seems to have been alone when she met her mysterious end.
But what of these nocturnal whistles, and what of the peculiar words of the dying woman?
I cannot think. But if you combine the whistles, the presence of a band of gypsies, the fact that the doctor had financial reasons for preventing his stepdaughter's marriage, and the dying allusion to a speckled band, do not the gypsies become central to our thoughts?
But what did the gypsies do?
I cannot say.
I have many objections to such a theory.
What the devil?
Which one of you is Holmes?
That is my name, sir, but you have the advantage of me.
I'm Dr. Grimsby Roylott of Stoke Moran.
Indeed, Doctor. Take a seat.
I will do nothing of that kind. I have traced my stepdaughter here. What has she been saying to you?
It is very cold this time of year.
Do not toy with me.
But I hear the crocuses promise well.
So you write me off, do you? I know who you are, you scoundrel. You're Holmes the meddler. Holmes the Scotland Yard informant.
Your conversation is most entertaining. When you go out, do close the door, for there is a decided draught.
I'll leave when I had my say. Do not meddle in my affairs. I know Miss Stoner has been here. I'm a dangerous man to fall foul of. See that you keep yourself out of my grip.
He is a most amiable person. Had he remained, I would have made myself clear to him. Well, this certainly gives zest to our investigation. I hope our Helen does not suffer by allowing this brute to trace her. Shall we order breakfast? Afterward, I shall go down to Doctor's Commons, where I hope to gather a little more data on the matter. I have seen the will of the deceased wife, which left something on the order of £750 to our bully boy. Each daughter can claim an income of £250 upon marriage, which would leave him little. Even one would cripple him to a serious extent. This provides him, Watson, with the strongest motive. We must travel there immediately. I should be very much obliged if you would slip your revolver into your pocket. That, and a toothbrush, I think, are all that we will need. So we arrive. The house of Dr. Grimsby Roylott.
And that way the village. And there the lady walking. Miss Stoner, I believe.
I have been waiting so eagerly for you. All has worked out splendidly. Dr. Roylott is unlikely to return home before evening.
We have had the pleasure of making the doctor's acquaintance.
He has followed me then.
So it appears.
He is so cunning that I never know when I am safe from him. What may happen when he returns?
He must guard himself, for he may find there is someone more cunning than himself upon his track.
I fear him.
You must lock yourself up from him tonight. If he is violent, we will intervene and take you away. Now, we must make the best use of our time, so kindly take us at once to the rooms which we are to examine.
The building was of grey, lichen-blotched stone with two curving wings like the claws of a crab. The right-hand block was comparatively modern and was where the family resided. The stonework had been broken into, but no workmen were currently present.
This, I take it, is the room in which you used to sleep? The center one, your sister's, and the last, next to the main building, Dr. Roylott's.
Exactly so, though now I sleep in the middle one.
I see no pressing need for repairs at that end wall.
There were none. I believe it was an excuse to move me from my room.
Ah, that is suggestive. Out there is the corridor to which the three rooms open. Seeing as one side is an open wall, are there any windows in it?
Yes, but too narrow for anyone to pass through. There are iron bars which can anchor to the windows and make them impassable.
May we now examine the room in which you currently sleep? Where does that bell communicate to?
It goes to the housekeeper's room.
It looks newer than the other things.
Yes. It was only put there a couple years ago.
Your sister asked for it, I suppose?
No. I don't remember her using it.
Indeed. It seems unnecessary to put so nice a bell pull there. Floor seems untouched, except by feet, of course. Excuse me. The walls seem to contain nothing hidden. Why, it's a dummy.
Won't it ring?
No, it's not even attached to a wire. This is very interesting. You can see where it is fastened to a hook just above where the ventilator opens.
How very absurd. I never noticed that before.
Very strange. And what a fool a builder must be to open a ventilator into another room when with the same trouble he might have communicated with the outside air.
Done about the same time as the bell room.
Yes. There were several little changes carried out about that time.
These seem to be of an interesting character. Dummy bell ropes and ventilators that do not ventilate. With your permission, we shall now carry our researches into Dr. Roylott's apartment. Master's headquarters. What's in there?
My stepfather's business papers.
You've seen inside, then?
Only once, some years ago, but I remember it was full of papers.
There's not a cat in it, for example?
No. What a strange idea.
Well, look at this.
No, we do not keep a cat. We do, however, have a cheetah and a baboon.
Ah, yes, of course. Though this tiny saucer of milk is unlikely to satisfy their wants, I dare say. There is one more point which I should wish to determine. Thank you. That is quite settled. Hello. Here's something interesting. What do you make of that, Watson?
Why would it be tied to make an adjustable loop at the end?
Quite so. Ah, It is a wicked world, and when a clever man turns his mind to crime, it is the worst of all. I'm quite finished. With your permission, we shall now walk out upon the lawn.
I had never seen my friend's face so grim, or her brow so dark as it was when we turned from the scene of this investigation. She walked about the lawn for several moments.
It is very essential, Miss Stoner, that you absolutely follow my advice in every respect.
I shall most certainly do so.
The matter is too serious for hesitation. Your life may depend on your compliance.
I assure you, I am in your hands.
In the first place, my friend and I must stay the night in your room.
Indeed?
Yes, it must be so. Allow me to explain. Over there, I believe, is the village inn?
Yes, it is called the Crown.
Very good. And your windows would be visible from there?
Certainly.
You must confine yourself to your room tonight on pretense of a headache. When you hear your stepfather retire, you will light a candle and put it on your window as a signal to us. Then you will withdraw quietly with everything that you should want into the room which you used to occupy. I have no doubt that in spite of the repairs, you can manage there for one night.
Oh yes, easily.
The rest you will leave in our hands.
But what will you do?
We are going to stay in your room and discover what this noise has disturbed you.
I believe, Miss Holmes, you have already made up your mind as to the particulars of this case.
Perhaps I have.
Then for pity's sake, tell me, what was the cause of my sister's death?
I should wish to have clearer proofs before I speak.
You cannot at least tell me if she died of sudden fright?
No, I do not think so. I think there was perhaps a more tangible cause. We must leave you now, for if Dr. Roylott saw us, our journey would be in vain.
Rest assured that we shall soon drive away the dangers that threaten you.
Goodbye, and be brave.
We then engaged a room at the Crown Inn. At dusk, we saw the doctor drive past, and minutes later, a lamp was lit in one of the sitting rooms.
Did you know, Watson, there will be a distinct element of danger once we've settled in at Roylott's? I have some scruple as to taking you.
I hope to be of some assistance.
Done. It is very kind of you.
This danger, you have evidently seen more in these rooms than was visible to me.
You saw all that I did.
I saw nothing remarkable but the bell rope, and what purpose that could answer, I know not.
You saw the ventilator too?
It is not unusual to have a small opening between two rooms. A rat could barely pass through it.
I knew we should find such a ventilator even before our arrival.
You amaze me, Holmes.
In Helen's statement, she said her sister could smell Roylott's cigar. That indicated a communication between the two rooms. It must be a small one, or the coroner would have picked up on it.
And the harm of such a ventilator?
A ventilator is made, a bell rope hung, and the lady who sleeps in the bed dies.
I cannot see the connection.
Did you notice anything peculiar about that bed?
No.
It was clamped to the floor. Have you ever seen a bed fastened like that before?
I cannot say I have.
The lady cannot move her bed. It must stay in the same relative position to the ventilator and the false bell pull.
Holmes, I see what you hint at. We are only just in time to prevent some subtle and horrible crime.
Subtle enough and horrible enough. The doctor has nerve and he has knowledge, but we will have horrors enough before the night is over. Let us have a quiet pipe before it begins. There's our signal. It comes from the middle window. We haven't a moment to lose. Hurry!
Now, Watson.
In through the window, Watson.
Wait! Holmes! Did you see it?
I did. That, I think, was the baboon.
I hope we will be spared the cheetah.
Now, in through the sister's room. The faintest noise would be fatal to our plans, Watson. We must sit without light. Do not go asleep. Your very life may depend on it. I advise you, have your pistol ready. And now, the waiting.
A dreadful vigil, Holmes.
Your cheetah.
I smell burning oil.
Did you see it, Watson? Did you see it?
I see nothing. Ah! What can it mean?
It means that this is all over. Take your pistol, and we shall now enter Roylott's room. It is a swamp adder, the deadliest snake in India. He has died within 10 seconds of being bitten. Do not approach. We will deal with the snake later. We must remove Miss Stoner to a place of shelter, and let the country police know what has happened.
Such are the true facts of the death of Dr. Grimsby Roylott of Stoke Moran.
I had, Watson, come to an erroneous conclusion on insufficient data. The presence of gypsies and the use of the word band put me on the wrong scent until we came across the room with the bed clamped to the floor and the ventilator. I then assumed that the bell pull was there for a communication between the bed and the ventilator. It was then simple to consider the doctor's interest in creatures from India and the use of a poison difficult for the English to identify. Then, of course, the whistle. And the snake trained to return to his master with a little bit of milk as a reward. The metallic clanging heard by Miss Stoner was caused by closing the door of the safe upon its occupant. The coroner, Watson, unsurprisingly missed the 2 puncture marks from where the poisoned fangs had done their work.
And then your battering of the bell pull with your cane drove the creature back through the ventilator.
And, agitated it so, it turned upon its master.
You have then committed a kind of murder, Holmes.
I cannot say, Watson, that it is likely to weigh too heavily upon my conscience.